Hey everybody,
Okay.
Coach here with Golf with us. Back with another video. I'm back with another podcast. Today, we have Lucky Dad Golf in the house. How you doing?
Doing good.
All right. So introduce your guys yourself so I know who I'm talking to.
Well, I am Paul, and
I'm Lucy.
Lucy. All right. Cool. So, what got you guys started in golf?
I started playing golf when I was, hitting golf balls and stuff around the yard when I was probably 4 or 5 years old. My dad was a Golfsmith club builder when you had to get certified to do all that stuff, and he'd cut down an iron or whatever, and I'd hit balls around the yard. And then he was a big baseball player, so I wasn't allowed to play golf till baseball season was over with.
Hey,
Now,
opening
once
day.
it was over,
Today's opening day.
you know, yeah. But I kind of went from about the time I was 12, I was done with baseball. It was golf. That was the only thing that I had a route to make a name for myself, I guess, in my family. Everybody else, basketball, baseball. We're in Indiana, so basketball is kind of an obvious situation for that.
Right.
But
Obviously, yeah.
yeah, this one's had clubs since before she could walk. It's
saw
part of who I
that.
am. So yeah, it's been a lifelong thing for her.
Awesome. Now, how old is Lucy?
I'm 9 years old.
9 years old. So and you've been golfing for 9 years, basically.
Since she could stand upright, so about 3 years old, she started swinging clubs around inside the house and stuff like that. The little plastic clubs that everybody
Right.
finds.
And the little set where it had like the golf ball thing.
Nice. Now, what made you want to play golf? Just because your dad was playing, or is it something you kind of always just been around and you just wanted to do it, or?
Last year I actually really started playing. So, at first it was just kind of just having fun at the golf course, and then last year it started to actually become like a serious thing.
Nice. Now, are you on a team or in a league or anything?
Not yet. We're working on getting her some newer clubs, and I have a buddy of mine named Jamie Brose who is the head coach at IU Indy.
Okay.
Trying to get some short game lessons from him, and of course Doug here at the academy, who lets us shoot out here and hit all the balls we want and everything here at Indies in Muncie. This has been my second home since I was 19 years old.
Awesome.
Come out here, hit balls, all the long drive training, stuff like that. I've spent a lot of time out here.
Now, is that indoor or an outdoor or both?
It has a couple of simulators. They have an indoor putting area, but it's heated and lighted, so you could hit balls during the winter. They circuit it off. I'm trying to think, who's the professional golfer from Wisconsin? Is it Stricker? But his father-in-law took a cargo container and built him a heated hitting area so he could practice year-round and hit balls out to the outside from inside the cargo container. But it's kind of like
those things.
Yeah. But yeah,
I've
there's
seen it where they
gas
open
heaters,
the door, the side of it up.
Yeah.
That is that's actually pretty cool. I like what they do with those containers. Build houses, all kinds of stuff with them. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So now, how often does Lucy play?
Well, right now the weather hasn't really allowed it. We've only had about 3 actual days of golf weather so far. In Indiana, it could be 30 in the morning and 65 in the afternoon. So, and then
So I'm not going to tell you it was 98 degrees here yesterday. It was 95 degrees the day before. Today it's 84 degrees. So
Yeah.
not going to rub that in or anything, but Arizona Golf, or at least from Southern Arizona Golf, treats us pretty nice all year around for the most part. If you can golf in 120-degree weather, but you get to golf in some amazing golf courses for super cheap too. So
yeah, I've seen some of the videos out there of some of the places that they have, and who is it? Mike Wilbaum always talking about playing golf out there on Pardon the Interruption and stuff like that. I guess his second house is out there.
Yeah, I don't live in the Phoenix area. I live south of Phoenix. It's about Phoenix is about that whole Phoenix Scottsdale area where golf is real. Like Scottsdale is, it really depends. If you want to look at golf courses like Myrtle Beach and Scottsdale, I think they battle each other, man. Because I think Arizona is the number three destination for golf or something. I think it's Florida, Myrtle Beach area, and then Arizona. But I don't know. I think Arizona might beat out, but I don't know. I haven't been back there.
I've actually been to Myrtle Beach, so I would say for land area, they probably got you guys smoked.
Oh, probably because
Yeah.
they got all kinds of stuff. Yeah. So what since you've been around golf your whole entire life, and she's been around it her whole entire life now, and we're talking about social media and stuff. Back when you started, I don't know how old you are, but back when you started, golf, or it was PGA. You watched it on Saturday and Sundays on a local TV station. Now it's everywhere. What's your guys' thoughts on YouTube golf and the social media golf? Because I mean, your guys are diving right into it and starting her out young the way she is and building that audience now. Time she's a teenager and stuff. Wow, it's going to be crazy. So, what's your thoughts on that?
I try and be careful, just as a parent. What you're exposing your kids to, because she is of that YouTube generation. And I kind of tease her. So like, we just do this on Instagram, and we'll start to do a video, and she says, "Welcome back, guys," and I'm like, "You don't have a YouTube series."
Oh, she's going
So,
to.
but yeah, she's of that generation. And what I don't get, like, I have guys hit us up on here and on Instagram all the time asking us to subscribe to their YouTube channel. How do you have time to shoot YouTube, TikTok, edit everything, make it creative, and then still work a full-time job?
Well, you have a job like mine where it's really flexible. So I'll tell you how I do my stuff. Soon as freedom flies over, we live right by a military Marine air base.
Yeah,
So
I actually,
yeah.
so I supply the parts for those jets.
Oh, do you? Awesome. Yeah. So they go from here to like 29 Palms and stuff, and our house is the direct flight path over it. But anyways, so I'll tell you how I do my videos. Like I'll shoot this video, go back and edit it, and then I'll just post all through just the same video all the way through, because editing does take a lot of time. But I have a lot of time on my hands in the evening, so that's when I do most of my stuff. So the hardest thing for me golfing is shooting the videos and trying to golf at the same time.
Yeah.
My golf game, I've only been playing for 2 years. Right now about 15 handicap.
Man, that's awesome for only playing for 2 years.
I'll tell you, when I say I practice, I probably practice as most people do. I practice almost every day. In fact, I just got back from the driving range. When I messaged you, I just got back. So I spent 2 hours on the driving range today, plus the gym and all that kind of stuff. But I practice all the time, and I play. Well, I'll tell you, I played 10 different states, 54 different golf courses, and played 197 rounds in 2024.
Man, that's amazing.
Yeah, it was. And I was a 16 handicap when we started. I was a 15 handicap when we ended. I was like, that's a problem, playing that much golf. But so this year is more on focusing on my podcast and just getting better at golf. Not traveling as much, but just getting better.
Let me ask you this one real quick. How much time are you spending practicing your short game?
Every day. I putt. I have a putting. I have a putting mat. Every night it's 100 putts every night for that. Chipping is it's a love-hate relationship. There's days I'll tell you, I shot a 77 last week, and it had nothing to do with my drives weren't that great. It had everything to do with my chipping that day. I was putting them in with a 3-foot circle all day long, and it was like instead of a 30-foot circle, I'm putting in a 3-foot circle. It was a
Yeah.
different. I didn't know how to act. I'm like, whoa, this is usually my second putt instead of my first putt. Yeah, but really ramped up my short game this year for sure.
Good.
I worked on my driver forever, and then I just recently got new irons, and so I've been hitting a lot of irons. But starting in January, I actually started getting lessons on chipping and pitching
Yeah.
because I was getting lessons for everything, but chipping, I just struggle with it for whatever reason. I struggle and struggle and struggle. I was like, and I wasn't getting any better, so I just reached out and said, "Hey, I need some." My golf pro is awesome, like he's super awesome, and I'm like, and so we've had 6 chipping lessons, and it's been a game changer. A game changer.
I've given a lot of guys, the biggest thing that I always try and tell people is the simpler you can make it, the better off you'll be.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So plant all your weight on your left foot and just follow through the golf ball.
And that's my biggest thing is here's my biggest thing. I'll get back to my backswing, and I'm like, wow, that's a great takeaway. I'm gonna look up and see how great this shot is before I even hit the ball.
I grew up with a dad that said, "You watch where it was, I'll watch where it goes."
Yeah, and that's my big. I always say I want to make a device that clips on my hat that comes down and clips like on my shorts or something. So I pull my head, because it happens all the time, and it's my old baseball habits too. I mean that same thing, pulling my head out, going, oh wow, oh yeah, that pitch, oh that's my pitch, and I'm pulling my head out, going, yeah. So now, what is it like having that father-daughter coach player type relationship with you two?
What do you think?
It's more of like just getting to spend time together, and because I only get to see him once a week when it's my mom's weekend.
Right.
So it's mainly just us two when we can.
Awesome. Now, let me ask you this. Now, you guys, is that your guys' thing that you guys do is golf? Is that your thing?
Yeah.
Mine
A lot
is,
of it.
with my oldest son, it was always sports. And I coached almost every team he was on, except for a couple, all the way through high school sports as well. I was always his football coach and stuff. So we had that bond. I think that's important. I think that's super important that parents, fortunately, and I'll be honest, I'm guilty of this too. When my now phones have really developed since my kids were little. My oldest is 29, so handing them a device, and that was her babysitter. And again, I'm guilty of it, and a lot of parents are. Throwing their kids a device instead of taking them out golfing or taking them out doing things with them.
I think a lot of it with her was that was where I was at. So she was going to be with me, whether it was she's coloring while she's sitting in the cart or playing a game on my phone or whatever. The only thing I would make her do is she had to get out and putt. So I didn't.
How your what started?
I really didn't want to force golf on her. So I really waited until she kind of wanted to do it herself. And then last spring, she wanted to start before I did. She's like, hey, can we go to the driving range? Can we go to the golf course? Stuff like that. And
That's so awesome.
I think a lot of it with me being around the people like Doug, who owns this and is a pro here, and the people that own the golf courses and the golf community that I've built. I mean, I work for a guy that's one of my best friends that's a golf relationship. My other best friend owns a barbecue restaurant that's a golf relationship, and it really is a lifetime sport. And the biggest thing that a lot of people don't realize with the golf stuff, not necessarily the industry, it's not what you know, it's who you know. And making those relationships and the connections and stuff like that. Like I've gotten to play places and go places because I know people, but the better you get at it, the more likely they'll invite you to go to. So
Right, obviously, yeah. I've noticed that as I've gotten better, I'm getting invited to charity tournaments a lot more. Just the other day, a buddy of mine called me, hey, tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock tea time, be there,
Yeah.
and I ended up being the A player. And I'm not an A player, but I ended up being the A player on the team. So I'm getting a lot more of those invites, and then getting invited to do a lot more like content creator stuff.
Hmm.
So yeah, that's as you get better, you build those relationships, and that's what I've noticed with golf is the relationships you build, the networking you have. It's again, I've been a football coach. I'm going on my 25th season,
Wow.
and I've raced cars for many years. I've been a baseball coach, a youth baseball coach, soccer. The whole. I did the whole dad whatever. There's never been a sport like golf that has that networking in it, and the it's almost I say almost business like, because I
Hmm.
mean a lot of business deals are
Yep.
made on a golf course, and now that we have social media, like Lucy, young kids coming through this and developing and watching this journey, and what's really going to be what I find really fascinating about what you guys are doing when she becomes a freshman or a sophomore in high school, she's going to look back and there's a whole documentary that's already built for her,
Yeah.
and it's going to be really cool. Especially she's going to look back at this interview and she's like, "Oh my God, I was so small," whatever. And then watch how she develops through high school. That's what's really cool about golf and social media is you can actually really kind of just follow your journey, and that's kind of what I've done is follow your journey, and you pick up followers along the way,
Yeah. We've
and
actually gotten in some really good groups on here and on Instagram. And I will say the Instagram, Paulie from Lombardi Putters has been very instrumental in us kind of growing very quickly there.
all that
Um,
Was it Lombardi's?
mhm.
I just did a golf tournament in it was a Hot Shots charity tournament for the LA Fires, and he had donated a couple putters, and I've actually got to see them up close. I'm like, now these are
Yeah.
really cool. Like really, like
Yeah.
how do I hook up with this guy? Because these are really nice putters, So
Yeah, he's taken. I will give him a huge shout out, not just only from the content side of things, but the person that he is. Him and one of his putter builders, Lee, who owns the Wedge FX, who does like all the custom work and stuff like that. They both messaged just, hey, how's things going? How are you doing? Stuff like that. And so now. He even called us on like a random Sunday. Just, hey, I want to check in with you and Lucy and see how it's going. This guy's running a putter company. That's something that I've never thought I would experience. Even
yeah,
because I had Cobra as a sponsor for about 6 years when I was doing long drive stuff, and I never had contacts like that. The rep never bothered checking in on me. Hey, do you need a new shaft? How's the head feel? Stuff like that. None of that stuff.
yeah. I just got new Cobra irons. And I absolutely love them. What a flipping game changer. I went to, and I know people like, I went to a game I went to Air X's when I went ultralight. Absolutely love them. And people are trying to push the TaylorMade P790s on me. Well, I have a set. When I could hit them good, oh wow. But these Cobras, man, they're just so consistent and forgiving. And I added 10 yards to each one of my clubs. It's
A
just
lot of
crazy.
stuff with the 790s. They're too sporadic. I have a couple of buddies that one of them that played them for a long time, and you'll hit your 7-iron 180 yards one time, and then you might hit it 160 yards the next time.
Yeah, you just never know. Yeah,
Because of
you
the
just
trampoline
don't
effect.
know.
Yeah.
I know they're a hot club, but I know like they're known for their distance and stuff, but they're just weren't as consistent. And I had Latherus irons because they kind of sponsored me for a year. Latherus clubs, and they were good clubs to learn on, and I'm not gonna say anything bad about them at all.
Mhm.
It's just from day one when I got my new Cobras, it was a different game. it was just a different game. I was like, holy crap, this is how golf is supposed to be, you know. Um,
I think I had a bunch of cut off Delta clubs, if you want to go back that far when I started.
wow, that's
And
a,
then I had knockoff Callaways from the time I was 12 till I was 16.
uh-huh,
And I worked at a golf course here called the Players Club. It's one of the best courses in the area.
right.
And Fred Couples is my all-time favorite golfer. And back then he was doing links, which got bought by Golfsmith before it all kind of fell apart. And they put out a set called the Black Cat Tours, and I was obsessed with these things. My high school golf coach was the assistant pro there. And when the rep came in, he introduced me, and he goes, this kid will not stop bothering me about these clubs. And he goes, I can't special order them or anything. And he got to talking. He goes, who's your favorite golfer? Yada yada. I said, Fred Couples has been since Freddie's the king. I have a swing like John Daly, but Freddie's always been the king. He just captain smooth. Right. Everybody that I give lessons to, people starting out, I'm like, go watch Fred Couples videos. That's what you want to do. Anyways, the rep took me out to the van, hands me a box, and he goes, don't worry about those irons, kid. Freddie's getting them for you. And hands me a set of brand new Black Cat Tours.
How
and
awesome
I still
is that?
Y'all, that was better than Christmas.
Oh, heck yeah, it is. That is heck yeah. So, listen, what's your favorite snack on the course?
Candy.
What kind of candy?
It's mainly the candy at the golf course because I get it for free.
There you go. What's your favorite drink? She has to slide in a little bit. Have her slide into. I'll have her slide in a little bit. Half her face is off the screen.
Get over here, so
There you go. There we go.
Sweet tea or lemonade and sweet tea or root beer.
So that's the Arnold Palmer.
He actually knows what the Arnold Palmer is. So
There you go, girl. That iced tea is my favorite thing on the course. I'm not a big drinker at all, but Monster, sugar-free Monster is a must for me. It's just I have to have a sugar-free Monster on the course. It's just what it is for me. But what's your favorite? What's your favorite thing about golf that you like?
At my mom's it'd be my 5-iron.
Okay.
And here it'd be my driver.
Really? Why? So why? What's the difference? Like, why that your mom is a 5-iron and here's a driver?
Because 5-iron at my mom's because well we either play on Sundays when I'm at her house or Saturdays, and when we play we're like in a rush, so we kind of like we play best ball, so and my brother mostly he always takes a sweet time, so he'll go.
I love it. She doesn't like. She's 9 years old. Going, I don't like slow play.
she's heard Dad say stuff about that before. So, but we're always kind of mindful about where we're. To me, if the course is backed up, it's one thing. But if somebody's playing fast, you let them go. What's the point of ruining somebody else's day because you're out having fun?
I'll tell you this. This is what happened to me the other day, and I couldn't even believe it. So me and my buddy gets ready to tee off on one, and somebody comes around and they started on 10, so they're at the turn going to 1 for their back 9, and we let them go. Like, okay, go ahead and go. So they were hitting, and they weren't even on the green yet. And my buddy was teeing up, just kind of chilling, just waiting for them to get on the green, whatever. It's a par 3, so we're waiting for them to get off. Next thing I look up, and I see this guy walking right down the middle of the fairway towards us. And I'm like, all right. And he comes up and goes, we're behind them, and we're next. And I was like, and we were like, just didn't say a word to him. We were like, I was like shocked. Like, this is my home course, and like, I'm like shocked. I'm like, who is this guy? Like, I've never seen him before. He made this big old deal about it. And my buddy's like super non-confrontational at all. And he was just standing. He goes, okay, fine. He goes, well, fine, I'll let you guys go first. You're not gonna let me go first. And my buddy's like, we didn't say a word to you. Like we hadn't said one word to this guy. We were just looking at him like in shock. And I stopped. I looked. I said, dude, this is. And I said, I looked at my buddy. I said, this action right over here, exactly what I deal with at the high school, like that.
Yeah.
And that guy got mad, and I'm like, and he said something else. I said, you're still proving my point, you know.
Yeah.
And then so we let his wife go, and he didn't tee off. He just grabbed his stuff. We were like, "Are you kidding me right now?" It was insane. But slow play is not the coolest thing on earth. But I understand when it's backed up, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah. I think the only time I've been close to getting in a fight at a golf course was we got invited to play at a charity scramble, the course I'd never played before. A place called Horseshoe Bend, I think it was. And this is the year after I stopped doing the long drive stuff.
Mm-hmm.
One of the holes is like a 330-yard downhill par 4. Blind tee shot. We probably waited on there 15, 20 minutes. And I hit 3-wood because it's downhill. And at that time, I was hitting my 3-wood around 300, maybe a little bit more. And we get down there, and it hit right in front of the green. They're still on it when we pulled up. This is a scramble. It's not, playing your own ball. We've given them plenty of time to get out of the way. So I went and apologized to everything. 2 holes later, number 1, the 420-yard with an elevated tee station. Let him get on the green, hit my drive, knock it to the fringe on the green. This one dude out of their group is just going nuts. And the whole way up there, my dad's riding with me, just getting fired up. I mean, he's ready to fight. We get up to the green, and his buddies go, do you really want to fight somebody that just hit the ball 400 and some yards? Shut up and get in the cart.
Right. I tell you,
I started dying laughing, like it completely deflated it for me there.
Well, this happened to me just when I was in Vegas a couple weeks ago. It was slow play, and there was a twosome, and then there was a twosome in front of me. So there was two twosomes in front of me. I don't know why they didn't join together or whatever the case may be. But anyways, so I pull up to the tee box. I'm waiting, and so I'm on my phone, not paying attention. It's totally my fault. So I'm on the phone doing my social media crap, whatever, and I happened to look up, and I saw 2 people on the green, and I didn't see a golf cart between the tee box and the green, but it was rolly heels, and the group that was in front of me, they were behind this hill, and I didn't see them. So I get up. And I hit like a 280 it's 270 yards, like 200. I'm not a long ball hitter. I'm only 5'8", so I'm not a long baller hitter. I can hit it. I've hit it 300 a couple times with the wind behind my back and downhill and tight line and let it roll out. But this one, I smacked. It was a solid smack. It hit. It probably rolled out to 270, I think it was. But right when I hit, the guy came out from behind the heel, and
your stomach just drops instantly.
Dropped.
Yeah.
Because I got a hold of that one when it hit. Well, it actually just rolled out. It hit and rolled out like 30 yards because it was super tight lie. But it hit well behind him and just rolled right past his feet. And I was like I just sunk. And I was like, so I drove up there. I drove right to him. And I was like, so sorry. I didn't see you there. I was totally apologetic, and they were super cool. But at first, they were kind of annoyed, but they saw like, dude, I said, I am the guy. Like, I hate that, and it was my fault. I didn't mean it. Like, dude, I said, I am the guy. Like, I hate that, and it was my fault. I didn't mean it, and they were super cool about it because I thought this was going to ruin my day because I was totally wrong. Like, there's no. First time I've ever done that. I usually yield to the caution side of it. Like if I think I can get there, 9 times out of 10 I won't. But if I think there's a chance, I will wait. Just because I don't want the headache.
I'd rather sit there all day than take the chance of hitting somebody with the ball.
Oh yeah, I've been in situations where it wasn't fun, but But that's part of golf. That's part of golf. So, Lucy, what is your dream with golf? Like, what's your goals with golf?
When I get older, if I get into Ball State or whatever college I get into, I'll try and join the golf team.
I think
Oh,
at
you're
her age,
right. There's no
college
no doubt about it.
is like the vision for right now. Especially in the third grade. Hey, if we get into college playing golf, I always tell her, there's a drop in the ocean chance of making a professional tour.
Right.
But if you can get to college, maybe get a scholarship, stuff like that, because this is something that you can play your whole life, literally.
Now this is what's really cool with social media and YouTube golf. There's guys, they're making really good. I mean, millions off of
I
YouTube golf.
kind of explained that to her a little bit, but I didn't want to push the envelope with it too.
I mean, you got Grant. Grant made over $20 million last year in social media.
Him and Bryson are probably my two favorite.
Yeah, my favorite is Trent Ryan from. He's just my favorite guy. He's so awesome, and what I really like about him is, and Lucy's kind of doing the same thing here, is putting our beginning golf out there. And that's why I liked him. I started when I started recording. I didn't even know how to swing. I didn't even know how the proper grip was really 2 years ago when I started putting my crap out on social media. And because Trent Ryan's kind of done this, and Lucy's doing the same thing. She's putting it out there like, "Hey, I'm just a beginner, but I'm out here getting learning." And what I see really cool here, I mean, such a young age, when you start building that audience, I'm not saying that professional golf is not the answer, but it's not the only option either anymore. And then when she gets older, there's something else out there which we don't even know about, but there's probably going to be some kind of other platform or something else out there. By the time she gets that age, that hasn't been developed yet or in the makings or whatever. So there's other options now. It's kind of how I see it.
Well, and I kind of talked to her that, when we got into the affiliate stuff, any commissions that we make off of that go to her college fund. Like, I'm not trying to make any big money off of it or anything like that. And if that eventually gets big enough, then maybe starting a junior golf scholarship or something like that, setting up a foundation with it, really help that side grow. But her and I try and make her as involved in it as she possibly can be. I always ask her questions, or I'll wait until she's with me where we can sit and talk about it as a team instead of it just being Dad making all the decisions.
Right.
I don't, just like golf, I'm not going to force this on her. If she wants to be a part of it and do it, then awesome. If not, we can shut all this down tomorrow and I'll be just fine.
Right.
And we'll go back to being two goofballs at the golf course instead of being two goofballs with a phone and microphones.
I don't want to.
Yeah, I have some of the other creators that we're friends with. They're just like, I'm just a goober that has a phone and recorded myself doing dumb stuff. So
that's kind of what it is. Now, you mentioned this before, and I'll kind of tell you exactly how I do things with my social media. My private life is my private life. My social media life is different. I don't post a lot of my kids or anything. Now they're all older, so it's a little bit different. But like you, I was scared to put my kids out, so I didn't post a lot out there. And how I even got started with TikTok was I had teenage kids that were on it, and I was being a dad. And I don't care what anybody could say. Privacy. I was a dad, and I was making sure my kids weren't looking at stupid shit or stupid stuff, or they weren't posting.
She's been around golf her whole life. Grandpa has zero filters, so she's heard everything.
Right, I know. Is it golf? What is it? Swing, golf, or golf, swing, and cuss and repeat. That's kind of how it is. Yeah, it's. So yeah, it can be scary, but also I see the business side of it as well. Like, you know, if a 9-year-old girl is putting herself out there to show that I can golf, I'm doing this with my dad, we're going to grow this. There's a business side of that too, as well. Like, okay, like you said, there's a college fund. College,
I
time she
think
gets
it's
to college, it's going to be stupid
that
expensive.
kind of. I think what attracts people to us is we are just who we are. Like we don't try and be like a lot of what you see is literally our sense of humor. It's not like that's why I wanted to make a point to post bad shots and bloopers and us being just goofy and laughing together because I think that's all part of the process for us. As you know, like I'm learning how to edit and do stuff on my phone that I didn't know how to do before, or the biggest thing that I try and relate to people is the bonding aspect between her and I. And as we get into golf season and get on the course more, you're going to see a whole lot more of our personality show up in our content because this one can talk trash with grown men.
Like when I was
yeah,
3 on the
there's
golf course.
yeah, there's no well, that's all she's played around. There's not a lot of women that play golf around us, and there's not a lot of young girls that play golf around us. So her whole experience so far has been playing with grown men.
The thing is that most of my friends are all on my mom's or near my mom, so I also don't get to see them there when I'm at my dad's.
Yeah.
Like the chances are like if I go to Five Below and I see someone.
Every little kid's favorite store.
Now, at school, Lucy, at school, does your friends know that you're on social media and stuff like that? They do? Are you kind of like a celebrity at school now? Or no?
I think they know from her talking about it and some of the stuff that we have going on. But other than that, I think that we kind of stick like to the fray where we're just above where her age kids watch it. Like I haven't sent anything to her teacher, so it's not like getting made a big deal at the school and stuff like that. So
everyone be like talking about me.
Jimmy walking the store, somebody's gonna recognize her. that's that's the fun part of this whole social media stuff. And it's happened to me where I've gone somewhere and people have recognized me because of social media, and they walk up to you and you're like, wow, this is crazy. And have you talked to her about that? And so that's going to be, as we grow, that's going to probably start people around your town are going to see it. You're going to.
I told her probably about the time that she's in high school that it's going to happen. Now, I know that through my life, like I would go places and people would recognize me because of my dad. My dad played softball and baseball and basketball everywhere. Hey, this is your last name. Yeah, I'm his son. Things like that. And then I think now she's realizing that when we go play golf at places, most of my friends, which I have a pretty broad network of the guys that I play with, she's like, man, people everywhere. I'm like, well, I played golf with him like one time. What's his name? I was like, I don't know. I played golf with that guy one time, like 8 years ago. Things like that. So
that's hard for me, like, especially traveling as much as I did last year and going to all these different golf courses. And of course, I'm a single, getting paired up with people. And probably 9 times out of 10, I was paired up with people. I will say with golf, I've never had a bad experience yet with people I've been paired up with. I had this last on Monday the 17th, I was in Anaheim, California, and I got teamed up with 3 older Asians. Couldn't tell you their names, but we had a good time together. There was
some of them are really fun to play with.
There was a slight language barrier, obviously, but yeah, they were older. They didn't hit the ball very far, or 2 of them didn't hit the ball very far, but they hit it just straight down the middle, and you're like, yeah, I just outdrove this guy 60 yards, but yeah, I'm hitting under this tree right now. So, and he's over there just popping it right up down the fairway, But
I think what a lot of the stuff changes with the generations. Like you look at my dad's generation, so the boomers, they're real like this is how everything is, all the way through. And then like my generation was the first one with Bluetooth, so we all have speakers out the golf course and we're hanging out and stuff like that, or guys are yelling because the stuff that they see and hear what happens with Tiger when he makes a big putt and things like that. Guys are yelling and pumped up. And I think you have to make room for everybody. I almost wish like our course that we play at doesn't even require a collared shirt.
See,
you wear a t-shirt.
It's funny you say that because since COVID, golf has exploded, right? It's just exploded everywhere. And I do now. I'm looking at all this stuff, and just me kind of being new. And I don't know how you are, but me, when I get into something, I am 1,000% in depth with it. It consumes me. It's my life now. It is what it is. But so I'm watching all this stuff, but what I've really noticed, and there's a stigma to it, and you mentioned it, old, rich, white guy sport. That's what it was. That's what golf was for many years.
And that's kind of
now.
So when we met Hank Haney, he really talked about this is a wealthy person's sport. It doesn't have to be.
No.
I've had people reach out to me about like getting clubs for their kids. It's like, go to Goodwill. Go to all the Goodwills in your area. Somebody's donated to the kids club. Pay $20. Buy you and your kid a putter and go to the putting green at your local golf course. It's free.
Yeah,
it's literally free.
It's the game that you need to practice the most is free at most golf courses.
Yeah,
that's chipping your putt.
And that's what I talk about. I talk about a lot with people because, the new driver is $650. Don't buy it. Wait 2 years and buy it then.
I'll tell you a story. I just did that, and I love my driver. I went and got fitted. I got and this was a year ago. I got the QI10 Max. I had a 50 grams shaft put on it, really nice shaft. So I'm swinging this club for like an hour and a half. You're just swinging different clubs, trying to get the right one. And my fitter, she's 90 pounds. Okay, she's a 2 handicap, and she drives the ball about 290, and she's about 90 pounds, and she's like 5'1". Sarah Club Fitter is her handle. And she's very meticulous, very detailed. So we're swinging this club, and then we go get we got the shaft the way they wanted the shaft and all this. Well, she went to get the shaft and she couldn't find it. So they upgraded my shaft. So if I had to pay for my driver, it was going to be about $900. I got it for $600 because she gave me the same price with that upgraded shaft, was just the stock shaft. Yeah, so it is. I mean, I bought my Cobras. Now I found a really good deal on them. But I bought my Cobras. So for a year and a half, I had my club sponsored to me. For a year rather, and I went and got that driver, and then my irons. I went and kind of got fitted. There was a buddy that had a TrackMan, and we kind of fitted it myself, and we had like 4 or 5 different clubs there, and that's how I ended up with the Cobras. But you can get into it. You can go out and drop $3,500 like my buddy did. He went to DXP, spent $3,500 on a set of clubs, and his ping. What he had? He had ping. What were those old ass things? Like ping 30s or something like that. And
old or something like that.
And he smacks the crap out of those pings, and he struggles with his brand new clubs.
Yeah.
And I'm like, those clubs are 25 years old, but for whatever reason, he played so much better with those. But yeah, But back to my point,
he built his swing around those old clubs, and his swing's not built around the newer clubs. So if he played with those forever, his swing is built around what's in those old clubs. The weird part with the golf industry that I think, to me, is bad, is the TaylorMade drive. So every year's a new $650 driver. Every year's a new $1,500 set of irons. But people just go buy it because they want the newest ones. They don't get fit for it. What shaft's going to fit them. I played
I'll tell you, this is what I did with my TaylorMade. I had the QI10 Max. Well, the face started chipping on the carbon fiber, the chip that came out. So I called TaylorMade. Within 30 minutes, I had a email with a shipping label that they're shipping me a new head. Well, I sent the old one back. When I opened it, it was a QI 35. ultralight max. So I called them just because I want to be, head like, hey, you sent me this head, but this is what the head I had. He goes, oh, no, we meant to send that to you. I said, okay. I don't like it as much as my QI10.
Well, and so I guess Rory ran into that the other week. He literally paid like they said, almost $1,000 for an Uber to go to his house and pick up his QI10 and bring it to the golf course.
I was so much more consistent with the QI10 than I am with this club.
And I think what you're going to find is every other year there's going to be something really good.
Yeah. Well, that's why Titleist only comes out every 2 years. That's what they say. You only go out to every 2 years.
I'm not. You will never hear me be a big fan of TaylorMade. They're who pays the most for the players, and that's why they're the most expensive, is because they're paying all of these players. From the last time I remember when they actually asked tour pros what they would play if they weren't paid, almost all of them said Mizuno.
Oh yeah, Mizuno's, Shricks. A lot of them are switched to Shrixon now, and
What I play.
yeah. I looked at the Shrixon for a lot. The only difference I had the Shrixon for is what I was hitting with, and I was comparing to the Cobra Air X's. I liked them. The only thing I was just a little more consistent with the Cobras. Maybe it's just the way they fit me. They were a little bit lighter. Those are it. So I was just a little more consistent with the Cobra. That's all. But I was dead. I swear to God, I was gonna get Shrixon. The only
thing that I will say that everybody's missing out on, Nippon Modulus NS Pro shafts are money. This is the only iron shaft I've ever played in my entire life or swung in any club that you'll feel the shaft flex.
Oh, really?
Back in your hand, yes. But I am not, you will hear me, I won't say this a lot, but I am not a KBS fan whatsoever.
I'm not either. I
have massively overproduced golf shafts under the sun. That's why they're in everything, just because they're dirt cheap, and it costs the club manufacturers less to put them in there.
I have that shaft on my approach wedge, which is it's a bulky 48 degree. It's heavy as hell. I don't like it. I don't really ever use the club. I needed a gap wedge. Since I got these new irons, I had a kind of a gap where I just needed that club, and the buddy of mine, I don't like them at all. So anyway, so Lisa, what's your plans for this coming up? What's your goals for this year when the season starts with you guys?
I would say probably last year I really worked on my driver. I'm still working on it, so I'd probably say get that ace, and then I'd say probably my 7 and 9 iron, because today when I practiced, I kept whiffing. So,
a little bit of overswing today.
And
I had that the other day. Whew, it was bad.
the ball.
Yeah. I had that happen to me. Overswinging is killer. It's my killer. Like if I have a good tempo, I can play a good round. If my tempo's off, so we went out. I played in the tournament Friday, played well. Monday, my buddy, hey, let's go golf in the afternoon. So we went and golfed, and I was just terrible. And then we got paired up with two guys. And usually, if I'm playing bad or he's playing bad, and we get paired up with two guys, like we'll meet up with two people, or they catch up to us, or whatever the case may be, we turn it on. Like, okay, it's time to play golf.
Play better with an audience.
Yeah, I do. Like for whatever, because I'm so competitive. Like, okay, everything slows down. I'm more focused on golf. Me and my buddy were all, talking throughout whatever life, whatever. We're all just having a good time, but we get it's time to go. But that is tempo is the biggest thing for me. What I noticed that she said, what I really liked, was she was mentioning Pacific clubs that she wanted to get better at. Like you asked me, I want to be a 12 handicap by this time next year. That's my goal. Is to drop, and I know 3 strokes is a lot to drop in a year. But that's my goal, is to be a 12 handicap or lower. But what I like what she said was I want to get better at. There are specific goals that she has, and that's pretty impressive from a 9-year-old. I was expecting to get better at golf. That's the answer I was expecting. But she said
so last year we started out was our goal with the driver was to hit it 100 yards. 2 weeks in, it was past that. So I think this year we'll probably shoot for maybe 150. To me, the biggest goal is going to be her getting better at putting. And a lot of that is not so much putting itself. It's in here. You kind of have to deplete the 9-year-old a little bit at the same time. So we talk a lot about the mental game and stuff like that, and having somewhat of emotional intelligence on the golf course. Because I will say this, golfers and comedians are the most self-deprivation people on the face of the earth, because we hate ourselves the entire time we're playing. It doesn't matter what anybody else is saying to us.
You are not wrong. You're not wrong.
It's harder to, like my driver now, the glue's like out and it's shaking like a macarena.
Now, a little bit of glue broke loose inside the head.
And I need new clubs because my driver has a giant dent, like you smashed a golf ball in it.
All right, so everybody's listening. We got to set up a Venmo. Let's get her some new clubs for sure, man. That'd be.
Well, she made a video last week, and it was on Instagram. I'm not sure if you saw it, but she actually reached out to Flynn Golf on her own.
Really? See, she already.
Yes,
she already has this whole business thing going.
She did the research. She went after who she wanted to go after, and it's been 10 days. Like I keep reposting those because Paulie from Lombardi literally redid it and put it out on their Instagram for us, which was unbelievable. You know, he didn't have to do that. So she's I think that some tournament golf might be by the end of the year, maybe a couple of junior tournaments.
See, that's awesome. You know, when I look back, I played high school football like your normal, typical, early 90s teenage kid. But I also went on and played 7 seasons at the semi-pro football level. And I'm looking back now, and I know I wouldn't change it at all. I wouldn't. I just, because there was so many, I did so many great things through semi-football. I met lifetime friends. I can't say it was a bad thing. But looking back at it, I was like, man, if I would have picked up golf back then, how good a player would I have been?
You probably thought all the golfers were nerds back then too. Golf is a
I'm chasing
sport. I play football.
Yeah, I'm chasing. I'm 5'8". I was 5'8", 200 pounds, chasing a football. What was I thinking? I mean, what was I thinking? But again, it gave me my football coaching career. And I got to. So again, I can't say no. I would never do it again. I just would have picked up golf earlier, and I think it would have been, especially if I was Lucy's age. Holy cow! Because I think. I don't want to, how should I say this without becoming a 15 handicap in 2 years. And basically I did it in 18 months. I think is a pretty good indication, like this guy could be pretty good. Because golf to me, and football, you can teach a guy a position in 18 months, he's going to be really damn good at it if he does. Golf is not like that.
No, you have to literally feel it out at golf. It's not.
Yeah.
Now, I will say this. I think for me, when I went from being an okay player to, I don't ever, I think that, time plus, I went for a couple of years where I wouldn't shoot over par. Maybe once or twice starting off the year, and then it was in the high to mid-60s through most of the season. The mental side of it, so like what you were talking about with the game of recovery and realizing that I had a bad shot. Okay, I'll make it up on the next one. And you have to literally drop it off right there. They always talk about short memory.
I'll tell you what changed me. I'll tell you what happened to me. I was playing in Washington. I'll tell the story the day I die, because I end all my videos this way. I was up in Washington playing with my brother-in-law and a good friend of his, and I hit a bad shot with my hybrid. It was just, and I took my club and I kind of smacked it on the ground. And he looked at me, and we're at a country club, at their country club, and I smack on the ground, and I'm just frustrated. He looks at me, and he goes, "Are you even good enough to get mad?" And I was like, "F you! Like, what are you talking about?"
Yep.
And then I got my cart, and we drove up to the green, and I thought about it because it made me mad. And I'm like, you know what? He's absolutely right. I'm not good enough to get mad. So at that day had changed the way I look at golf totally. But now, if I shoot a bad shot, for me, it is walk back to the golf cart, and I at least try to find three things I did good. I already know what I did bad. I saw it. We all saw what I did bad. Now, when I go back, what are the three things I did good? Out of every hole, when I'm walking off the green, I get back to the cart before I go to the next hole. I'm thinking, pick out three things I did well on this hole. Because, again, you already know I did bad. And that's really helped me to stay positive. You know, okay, I did a lot more good than I did bad that asshole. Yeah, I bogeyed it or I double bogeyed it, but I had a really nice drive, or I had a really bad drive, but my second shot was a great recovery shot. Things like that is kind of how I changed my mindset, and it's really helped me stay a little more positive and in tune to what's going on in that game at that time.
Yeah, a lot of times. So when I've given more of the how do I put it, course management lessons, like on course stuff with guys, we kind of walk through some of that stuff. Well, the biggest thing that I always talk to people about is, what's your miss? Okay, do you miss right all the time? Yeah. Well, why are you trying to go right up the pin? Aim left of the green. Just try and get on the green. In the middle of the green, try and make par. Play for par, birdies are a bonus. Play for par, birdies are a bonus. And I try and keep that to myself at times too. Even my two-man partner, who's a retired Marine Corps gunnery sergeant, you know, I've got him now going, chipping a putt. That's chipping a putt.
Yep,
You know,
that's how you have to look at it. That's how you have to look at it.
Down, still a par on the scorecard. There's no pictures on the scorecard.
And I think that's awesome. I mean, that's what I love about golf, because that's something Lucy at 9 years old, she can take and learn from. And then here I am, 49, I can learn the same thing. Okay, we can overcome this. And what's really cool about that actually can translate into life as well. You know, she has a spelling test, or I heard she's really good at spelling.
Got one tomorrow.
There you go. And then, well, you got me beat, because I'm not very good at spelling at all. But you could take that into testing. You could take that into your homework. You can take that in the classroom work. And I think it's just a good life lesson to be taught.
To actually kind of tie with that, so what was it, 2 weeks ago, she had the statewide eye read test that they had. That Monday night, she was so anxious that when she was on the phone with me, she was crying. What if I don't do good, and you know, I have to repeat the third grade and all that stuff? And I said, honey, we practiced all weekend. You know, you've worked really hard at this. It's the same thing as golf.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and she's in tears worrying about this. I said, did you work hard? Yes. Okay, then you have to approach it and be confident. Just be confident in yourself. Okay, tell him the news.
I did
Microphone.
pass.
There you go. We're going fourth grade. Going fourth grade, and we're going to get that driver on point this year. That's awesome. That is awesome, man. Guys, this has been a lot of fun. I got to learn a lot. It's been it's kind of cool to see golf through kids' eyes. This is my first time ever interviewing a kid, and I've been coaching kids for 20 some odd years. But it's cool to look at a 9-year-old and use the terminology that she used today was insane. I'm like she knows golf. Like she knows golf. She knows what she knows. Yeah. So that's hats off to mom and dad for teaching her that, for one. And I'm super excited to watch her journey.
I think
the cool
has been, so my friends that she's around all the time, and some of them are ridiculously good golfers. They
Right.
play P1 golf, stuff like that. They swoon to her. Like these guys have been around golf since they were kids too, and they're really good golfers. Anytime they're around her, she's like a magnet for people. And they just love how into it she is. They're always very encouraging with her. Man, I love that you're doing this. Everybody pushes her, not so much just get better, just to be out there. And that's been huge.
And that's the start of it. It's just to be out there. I mean, you can't be good at golf unless you start.
Well, so you're a football coach, and I think this is the saying that I think you'll relate to more. 90% of life is just showing up.
Well, the thing.
Yeah. Trust me, it is, because it is. You just don't know how true that is. You just don't know how true that is with commitment. And again, I know football, and just like golf, golf's a long season. Football's a long season, and just showing up every day is 90% of it.
Well,
And it's just like for me going to the gym. Just like me going to the gym, I have to pull teeth to get myself into the gym, but I've never regretted it.
It's always feel better when you leave. I'm glad I did that.
Yeah, glad I did that. So, all right, Lucy, man, I can't wait. I'm a fan. I'm a fan of you. I'm gonna watch this whole journey of yours, all the way from Arizona. I just love the dynamic, and that's what attracted me. That's like, I gotta get these guys on my podcast.
We appreciate you having me.
What's that? Oh yeah, it's a lot of blast. Like, I'm a fan. I can't wait to see what you're. Again, right now, I mean, the sky is the limit for you. For sure.
Well, we tell her. She'll ask where this is going. I said, "There's no telling where this is going."
Yeah, wherever you take
Go
it.
for the ride.
Yeah, just go for the ride and enjoy it, and always have fun with it. Have fun with it. And at the end of the day, and I tell my football players this: life is short. Okay, it truly is. But enjoy these moments. Enjoy these moments with your dad, because you're going to get an age one day where dad's not going to be the most important man in your life. I own a lot of guns, though, Paul. So whatever you need.
So do I. I live
So,
in the end. We don't even equipment.
Dad's not always going to be the most. But cherish these moments and just look back and watch what you guys are building, because it's special. It's going to be cool. I just have a feeling that maybe one day I'll be. So if you don't want to be on the LPGA, that's fine. But at least if you want to do YouTube golf, whatever you do, you're going to be.
welcome back to my channel.
Welcome back to my channel. That is awesome. See, she's already practicing. She got something, man.
She's fluent in the
got
YouTube.
this. So, man, again, guys, thank you guys for coming on, man.
Thank
Yeah,
you so much for having us.
yeah, it was a blast, man, for sure. All right, I'm gonna end it with this. Y'all ain't good enough to get mad. So take care.
I am.
Have a good one, Coach.